Hello Sim Rally fans and welcome back to Rally Technical, and I'm back with yet another project setups video for you, giving you 10 amazing new setups to enjoy. So if you prefer to optimize your performance by focusing on your racing lines and braking points, and you'd rather not go through the grueling and time consuming task of getting the car set up in the zone first, then you're in the right place. And this week we're diving into the fourth out of the 5 current FIA approved rally categories with the Peugeot 208 Rally4. Now first off, let's break down those performance specs. The Peugeot 208 Rally4 has a 3-cylinder turbocharged engine placed over the front axle, which pumps out a modest 212 brake horsepower at 5,450 RPM to the front wheels. It produces over 290 Newton meters of torque at 3,000 RPM and weighs in at incredibly light 1,080 kilos, giving it a power to weight ratio of 196.3 brake horsepower per 1,000 kilos. It's equipped with a 5-speed manual sequential shift gearbox to better prepare the typical younger drivers for what they will face as they climb through the current FIA rally pyramid. The 208 Rally4 does not compete in the WRC, as the lowest class available is the Junior WRC with the Rally3 cars. However, it does compete in the WRC Masters through the European Rally Championship under the ERC4 category, where it is currently being driven by 15 of the 27 drivers and has taken 4 rally wins out of a possible 8 in the 2024 season alone. This has been done by 3 different drivers, with Max McRae, nephew to Colin, taking 2 of those victories. So let's talk about the default setups and front wheel drive cars in EA Sports WRC. And I'm just going to come out and say it, they are terrible. They seemingly are unable to produce any kind of rotation through a corner. All you get is understeer, understeer and more understeer. This is mainly due to the roll bar balance being so far away from where it needs to be, and the differential being marginally out for my uber precise driving style. Front wheel drive cars should be the easiest to drive of all drive types, as they are often used as access level cars in rally. But because Codemasters do very little in terms of car setup and wheel settings, they have become the hardest to drive in the game. So my main focus when creating my setups was to increase that corner rotation on entry, apex and exit, while keeping the car balanced enough to get it through the corners. My second focus was to mitigate the on-throttle understeer as best as I could. And for my driving style, at least, I believe I nailed that, as top 10 times were coming easily and consistently to me once I'd got the car set up correctly. Now, some driving tips, simply because front wheel drive cars are extremely prone to understeer. And the reason why is this: the engine is mounted over the front axle and the power is sent to the front wheels only. Meaning there is no drive line running to the rear of the car, there's no rear differential to balance the weight of the car, making them front heavy. This is typically in the region of 65 to 70% of the car's weight will be at the front for a front engine front wheel drive car. When a car is that heavy on its nose, it will be reluctant to turn in, and if you're going to lose grip in a corner, you will lose it there first, especially if you're trying to turn and accelerate or brake at the same time. You must focus on the highest possible apex speed and not how late you can brake into a corner. So you need to optimize your braking points, because if you brake too late for a corner with a front wheel drive car, you will be greeted with understeer all the way through the corner. Even with my setups, there's no power going to those rear wheels to kick the back end out and rotate the car. The only option you have is the handbrake, and that will only slow you down even further. Next is throttle input versus steering input, as it's a vital part of controlling a front wheel drive car, as your front wheels are doing all the pulling and all the turning, so there has to be a trade-off in grip between the two of them. To simply put it, the throttle goes on at the apex, the steering comes off. It's the only way you can maintain 100% grip all the way through the corner. Also, when front wheel drive cars are driven on gravel, snow and ice, they will feel like they're in a constant state of understeer due to the weight balance of the car being front heavy and the stage surface yielding less grip. But because of that, you will be turning the wheels more than usual. Don't worry, it's all part of driving a front wheel drive car on these surface types, and you can use that to your advantage. So that extra steering angle coupled with good differential settings will help pull the car around the corner. If you can find a rut to sink that inside front into as well, that will increase the corner rotation even further when you go on the throttle. So Sim Rally fans, you have heard what my focus was for these setups. I've even given you some driving tips so you can hopefully get the best out of these 10 carefully crafted setups. So give them a try and focus on mastering your braking points and balancing your throttle inputs versus your steering inputs, and hopefully you will be rewarded. So that was stage 3 from Rally Sweden. The setup used and shown in all its glory was of course my snow setup, which took the world record under my hands and will be featured a little later on in this video. As you can see on screen now, this is where all my setups were created and the recommendations for each location. This is not a hard and fast rule, it's more of a helpful guide for you to choose. Everyone has a different preference when it comes to how soft or firm the suspension is, so feel free to play around with different combinations. Now, moving on to the leaderboard, and as expected, the Rally 4 class came in a little bit slower than the Rally 3 class at around about 5 seconds per stage, with the exception of the Monte-Carlo winter setup, where it was a full 20 seconds behind. The Peugeot 208 really struggling to find grip from those front wheels on the snow and ice of Monte-Carlo. Now, over the 10 test stages in time trial mode, it came in at around about 1 minute 10 slower than the Fiesta Rally 3, showing that Codemasters have done a very good job of balancing the grip and performance of the current FIA rally categories. Sadly, there are no Rally 5 cars in the game as it stands, which is a shame really. I personally would love to see them there, as I do love watching grassroots rally as well as the WRC. So come on Codemasters, please at some point give us some Rally 5 cars. And finally, for this section of video, it's time to reveal which car I will be creating setups for next. You have been voting all week long over on my channel's community tab, and I can confirm that the next car I'll be working on is the H2 rear-wheel drive Ford Escort Mark II. And I really cannot wait to get my hands on this car and see how it stacks up against the current generation of cars. Voting for the next car should now be live on my channel's community tab as well, so you can have your say in which car I create setups for next. The category will be World Rally Car 2017 to 2021. Only 2 cars reside in this class, only one can win your vote. Will it be a Ford? Will it be Volkswagen? May your favourite car win. Now it's time for a little disclaimer, as it is impossible to run all 10 setups down every stage in the game on different tyre compounds and different levels of stage deck, so you may need to make changes to the setups you see in this video. So all the setups featured in this video were created in time trial mode, with the exception of the Monte-Carlo winter setup, which was running quickly with high stage degradation and is specifically for winter tyres only. As such, time trial setups are optimised for the softest tyre compound available at each location in the summer season. To maximise the grip level for each tyre compound, you will need to adjust the anti-roll bars, brake pressure and differentials for the gravel setups featured in this video, brakes and diffs being the most important to get right. For asphalt setups, you will need to adjust the camber as well as what was mentioned for the gravel setups. To find out some general basics on how to change these setups to suit, please check out my car setups explained video in the video description. If you intend to run these setups on stage degradation higher than medium, you might have to raise the ride height by 1 or 2 clicks. Ideally, you should be using these setups as a better starting point than the default one to create your own, even if it is just a couple of minor changes here and there, as they were created by myself for my driving style, and as a result the setups might not be compatible with your driving style. That said, the setups you're about to see are a substantial improvement over the default setups if you have the necessary driving skills to extract the time out of them. On a side note, my car setups will not make you a better driver. However, by giving you a well-balanced setup, I can make you more of a consistent driver, which will then give you the opportunity to be a faster driver. I highly recommend that when trialing these setups for the first time, head off into time trial mode and trial them not just once but multiple times on the stages that I set them up on, to get a better grasp of why I have changed the settings to what I have, even going as far as comparing it with back-to-back runs with the default or the setup that you were using previously. And finally, and most importantly, I hope you enjoy the setups I've created, or at the very least find them a useful starting point for your own. If you've found this video helpful, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more rally car setups and technical breakdowns, so you can get your hands on them first and help optimize the YouTube algorithm so more players can find my work. Until next time, keep your foot pinned over the jumps. I'll see you in the next one. Here come the setups.